Hello all, welcome back to testingtools.co channel. You must have seen that we have gone through the Excel library. I've given a quick walkthrough and also I've given the links in the descriptions of that video as how do you create the library from scratch in order to read data from Excel files, right? Now, as part of the Java Selenium series, the next step that we discussed to do was how do we change the existing script in such a way it takes the input from the Excel file instead of hard coding the values that are given here, right? We are given the user, we have given the password, all these things, what item to add to the cart, right? So these all values have been hard coded in the script itself. But ideally in the real time scenario, what people generally do is they store the test data in the Excel file, and then as part of the script, they will read the data from the test data file, that is the XLS file, and then they will use it here. The reason is if tomorrow, if you want to change the data, they need not come to the code and then change. Instead, they can just go to the test data file and then change the data, right? So this also is important because if you are using these scripts across customers also, right? There are cases where we build test automation scripts that are reusable across different customers. Then what we do is instead of rewriting the entire code, if we just change the test data file, it will take care automatically. It will take that particular application of the new other customer and then it will run the script accordingly, right? So there are multiple reasons why we should actually externalize. They call it as externalize of the test data, which helps us to do several things, right? One is like if you want to change any data in the existing customer project, you can do it by directly going into the Excel file. Second is you can reuse this script. If the script is exactly same in different customers applications on the same application, then they can reuse this script. They have to just change the test data files, right? So thereby you're making sure that you don't have to write or rewrite the code multiple times for different customers, and also inside the same customer also for their project, it is easy to maintain the scripts. Based on the changes happening, you will have to just change the data in the test data files. Okay, so what I've done right now is I have copied the Excel library file here. If you see here, I have created the excel.java class. When I copied it from that particular repository where I created the Excel library, it was showing app.lib or some kind of package. So I have renamed it to library. And I will also show you the POM file here. So ideally we need only two main things. One is org Apache POI and also the org Apache POI. This is just POI and this is POI OOXML. Okay. And the versions also is same, or you can pick up any latest version. Okay. I think if you have done these two things, you can get started on changing the code in such a way that the test data is picked from the XLS file. Okay. So for now, first what we have to do is we have to create an Excel file which is a test data file for this particular script. And then we will use the test data file or the XLS file so that it can pick the data from that file and give the data here instead of hard coding the values. Okay, let me now just create the Excel file now and then we will start coding. So first let us see what all data we want to put in the Excel file. Okay, I'm going to the code again. So here we are using username, we are using password. What is the cart item? That is the item that we want to add to the cart, right? And then there is this price low to high. This is not so much needed right now to put in test data file. Actually, this is not even needed at this current point of time. Okay, I might even comment it. Okay, now what we're doing here and all. Okay, there is also the name, the first name, last name, and zip code. Even these things you can put it in the test data file. And then you are saying finish ID, and then you are checking the value is correct or not. Here it is checked, and this is like you don't have to put this in the test data file because we are only checking the verification here and it is not taking any test data. So I think that is fine, and we are giving this. So I think overall if you see, first name, last name, and the zip code, and then the product. So first we will do with only single product, and then we will see next. Okay. Also we have username, password. We can even push this URL into the test data file. Okay. So there is a different way to do this, but right now we will push this URL also into the test data file. Okay. And then later we will see how we can move this from this place to some other place and why we need to do that. Okay. That maybe I'll cover in the next videos. So I'm putting a lot of effort in explaining these things in a real-time way as how we do in real-time projects. So if you think I'm adding value to all of you, I would request all of you to hit that like button. And if you are new to the channel, I would request you to kindly subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so that you will not miss any future videos. Okay. Now let's get into the test data file and then see how you will put all the test data values and how you have to prepare the test data file. Okay. So first thing is URL. That's what we thought, right? You can put the URL, and then the next one is username that we want to use, and then the password. Okay. And then we talked about the item that we want to add to cart. And then next was first name, last name, and zip code. So these are the 5 things that we wanted to put in the test data file, and we will use our Excel library to read from this file and then use the data in our script. Okay. So let's copy the data now. So I'm putting the URL here, and then I'm changing the username. I'll also pick the password. So I also have added one of the items that we want to use, and then we will give first name, last name, and then the zip code. Okay. So these are the test data fields that we want to utilize in our script, and these are the values with respect to those fields. Okay. Now I will save this file and find the location, and I will use that file in our code. Okay. So I'm giving the file name as add to cart and checkout test data. So I'll save the file now. Okay. It is saved. Now I will get the path to this file and we will use it in our code. Okay. So here I will write test data file is equal to. So please make sure that you are putting the full path and also the .xlx extension. Then the code will work properly. Okay. So here I have put the test data file in a random location, but ideally when you are working on a project, you have to make sure that all the test data files are in one central location for that entire suite of test scripts. Okay. This is just an example of showing how to read the test data file and how do we use it. Okay. Now what is the next step? We have to create a Excel file, right? So I will say Excel and then we will say test data file. Now you know what is the shortcut to automatically import, or else you can see here it is showing import Excel library. Okay. So I have done that. Now there is no problem in this. So we have created an object to read data from Excel file. Now let us go to this particular place. So here what we will do is we will read the contents of the test data file and then we will use those values. Okay. So what we will do is Excel dot get cell data, which will take row number and then column name. Okay. So for us at this point it is only one row, so we can hard code that particular thing, and then the column names are, first thing is URL, right? I will show you that. So what are column names actually? The first row in the Excel file designate to the column names. Okay. So here if you see, the first one is URL and then username. So we will pick up all those data now. So here if you see, this will be string URL equal to, I think you have to put 1 here to get the first row data, because generally the rows in Excel starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 and all. So 0 is designated to the column names. So I am picking from 1. I have to be little sure here. Once we execute, we will see whether the data is coming properly or not, and then we will make the changes. Okay. So here instead of hard-coded value, I will say URL. Similarly, we will get the other fields. Okay. Now I will say string username is equal to excel.getCell data of row 1 and column name is username. And this I will remove. I have given it the variable username. After that, we will bring string password is equal to, let me just copy paste this and then change this to password. Okay. And then next, what else? We wanted the item, and item is given in item column. Okay. String item is equal to, I will say item. Okay, let me do one thing. Instead of hard coding this row 1, because if I have to change again, as actually what is the current row number, I have to again go and change in every place. Instead, I will put the row number here is equal to 1. See guys, this is what you have to learn, like, when to use a variable, when to hard code, all these things. Okay, that will help you in future to reduce the maintenance of the scripts. Okay, so we have added username, password, item, and then next we should let me comment this particular thing, as we are looking at only single product to add right now. This is okay, and then we need first name, last name, and zip code. Okay, so first let me change this password and also the item. Now let's get the first name, similarly last name, and then finally zip code. Okay, so let's replace these things also. Okay, so these were the fields that we thought we will externalize, and then we have actually got the data from all of the test data file, and then we are using it in those particular places. Also, always remember that once you are done working with Excel file, close it. Okay, otherwise the lock on the Excel file remains, and then the file might get corrupted, because we have to be executing this multiple times. If you kept it open through the code and you again try to open, there are chances of corrupting the files. So it's always good that when you're working with files, when you're opening a file, always make sure you close the file. Okay, this looks fine. Let us first close the Excel file before I can execute this script. Okay, now let us execute and see how it is going. Okay, there is some exception here. Let me see how we can solve this particular issue. Okay, it is saying this is something related to Boni Garcia. This is actually the WebDriver manager related thing. Okay, what are we having here? Okay, Boni Garcia, WebDriver Manager. Okay, let's first remove this once, and I'm pressing Control Shift O. This has come automatically. Okay, let me execute again and check once. It's again giving the same issue. Let's see what exactly it is saying. It is saying Chrome driver.storage.googleapis.com, java.net.unknown host exception. Okay, I understood. This is a silly mistake. Basically, in my laptop, there is no connection on internet. So that's the problem. Let me fix that first. See, how you are basically identifying that what kind of issue is this, right? So I have seen that there is Chrome driver.storage.googleapis.com. It says unknown host exception. That means it is unable to locate this particular location, right? So when I was saying that this is unknown host, it means that either the host has changed or there is something related to connectivity, right? So that's when I know that in my laptop there is some connection issues in internet. So that is why I have also thought about it and then found out that it's actually that the internet is not there. Okay, now I have connected it to the internet. Let's see if this works. Let's run again. Okay, I think now it's working properly because we didn't get any exception. So we see an exception here saying that null pointer exception, and it says that this dot column numbers is null. So we need to now look into the excel.java file where it says this dot column numbers is null. Let us first see where exactly we are using. Okay, we are using it here, right? But we are directly using the get cell data. See, here we are assuming that the column numbers is already loaded with the column name and the column value because we call get cell data directly. But where exactly this particular column numbers field is getting loaded, that's what we have to see. Okay, so here it is getting loaded as in the set sheet. Okay, get columns numbers map. Okay, we just created an Excel file. We did not set the sheet as which sheet you have to pick. And then we directly started using the getting the values from the Excel file, right? So that is why it is throwing error. Now what you have to do, so before even getting the values from the cells, we have to first set the sheet as which sheet you want to use. Right now I will just say set sheet of 1. Okay, because we have both the possibilities of using the sheet number or the sheet name. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll do it as sheet 1. Okay, let me see if that is correct. Okay, it is sheet 1 only, so it is fine. Let us first close this and then now execute it again and then see if it is working fine or not. Okay. Okay, looks like it's working because all the fields have come. If you see, the URL has come, the username has come, password has come. Otherwise, you would have not seen the entire execution, right? So the row number 1 is correct. Okay, it is not 0. As I said, row number 0 is allocated for the column names in the Excel file. Okay, and then the row number 1 is representing the actual second row in the Excel file. That is when the test data starts. And you have seen the complete execution. Now we have successfully removed the hard coding of values, and then we have used the data from Excel file, and then we used those values, and then we have completed the complete execution. Okay, this is really good. Now we will see one more thing. You will not generally add only one item, right? There will be cases where you will add multiple items to the cart, and then you want to check out the entire cart, right? So in this video, we have covered how to read the data for single item, for single username, password, and simple end-to-end scenario, right? And then we were able to finish the execution. Okay. So in the next video, what I will do is I will basically show you how you can add multiple items, not just one item. Okay. See, ideally, what you should do. If I want to add more items, what I have to do, I have to add more columns, right? And then I'll say this is item 1, item 2, and then I'll say item 3, item 4, and then I'll give the each item values. But that is not the right way to do, because how will you know how many items will be there for any scenario? See, there should be a flexibility saying that I should be able to add as many items as possible. Okay. Now, if you keep adding the columns, what will happen is, how will you know how many item columns you have to add? Right? We don't know. Sometimes I want to execute the script to add only 3 items. Sometimes it can be 4 items. Sometimes it can be only 1 item also. Right? So we should write our code in such a way there is a flexibility of providing how many our items are given. All those items should be able to add it dynamically. Okay. So I will show you that in the next video. That is why it is important to see the videos end to end. Okay. Because you will miss these kind of important points. This is what exactly happens in the real-time automation projects. Most of the channels, they will talk about how to do things, right? Like, for example, I've shown you now how to read data from Excel file and use it in your script. That every channel will do. But they may not be explaining things like why you should not keep adding multiple item columns based on the number of items I want to add, right? So I will show you in the next video. So please stay tuned, and you will not regret watching the next video, because it is very important and we use it regularly in our test automation projects, that particular concept. And I will be explaining it to you properly. Okay, I'm putting a lot of effort in creating these videos and I'm trying to share knowledge. If you feel that I am adding value, I would request you to kindly hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so that you will not miss the next videos. Okay, stay tuned. Always try to watch the videos end to end so that you will not miss any important points. Thank you.